We gotta use this fuel to our advantage.
There we go. The 2022 NBA Draft Lottery is upon us tonight. One franchise's dreams are going to come true potentially, as they will hold the key in their hands to what could be not only their future, but a future championship as well. All of that and much more is going to be at stake in tonight's NBA Draft Lottery, where one team will go away winning it all and winning the number one overall pick and getting the opportunity to draft one of the great prospects that we have. Of course, Chet Holmgren, I believe, is the number one prospect still on the board as far as who people see going number one. The Rockets do need a big man. It would be really, really, really fitting if they were able to match up Jalen Green with Chet Holmgren, what he can do on defense. He's a skinny boy, but he's a big boy, and he's got big-time potential as well. But we're about to find that out in just a little bit. Of course, here are the NBA Draft Lottery odds. Rockets, Magic, Pistons all have an equal chance to get that number one overall pick. They are followed by the Thunder, Pacers, Trailblazers, Kings, Lakers, Spurs, Wizards, and Knicks, Clippers, Hornets, and Cavs as well. My Cleveland Cavaliers have a sub-zero chance of getting this number one overall pick. It's the first time ever in the draft lottery era where I have zero hope about us getting the number one overall pick, which is probably a good thing. It means we're making strides. But here are the few caveats to go along with the NBA Draft Lottery as far as who could go where. Two things that we do know is the Lakers and the Clippers will not be making their picks. So, in essence, the Clippers are going to, no matter what happens here, the Clippers are going to give their first-round pick over to the Oklahoma City Thunder. They have the 12 best odds of getting the number one overall pick. It's not likely that they're going to get that. They could move up a little bit as well, but the Thunder are likely going to have two picks in the lottery, 2 picks in the first 14 picks, which is going to be really good for a team that already had a breakout star in Josh Giddey, already has Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, who's an elite player, I think, in the making. They're only going to get better. Then you have, of course, the LA Lakers, who were not expecting to be in this position. They traded away a lot of key pieces to the New Orleans Pelicans in order to get back Anthony Davis. They're still reeling and dealing with the fallout from that trade, and it cost them this time because in a year where the Lakers were not good. Look at that. They had the 8th worst record in the entire league. That is not what this team wanted to be. That is not what they were set up to be. That is not what this team was designed to be. And yet we are standing here. The Lakers have a chance, a fine chance at the lottery. Look, the Cleveland Cavaliers back in 2011, I believe we had the 8th best chance or 7th best chance to get the number one overall pick, and we got it. And we drafted Kyrie Irving. You had a chance here to move up and get a really good, solid pick. And now the Lakers don't have that, but would they be in this position had they not done that? Who knows? But the Lakers don't have their first-round pick this year. That's going to go over to either the New Orleans Pelicans if it's a top 10 pick. Otherwise, that pick is actually going to go to the Memphis Grizzlies. Look at this. Look who decided to show up. This is an interesting scenario I'm dealing with. Just give me 1 second. Guys, be sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you get notified whenever a new video or stream is released, as I deal with some technical stuff here. Actually, we're not gonna go off air. We're gonna stick with it. But yeah, a lot of teams' chances here could change. 1 second. Wheel and deal. Where is this? There we go. Here we go. That's what I was looking for. So I am going to bring on a very special guest who's going to be joining us in just a little bit. You guys. Oh, there you heard Jason Kidd. The technical difficulties never end here on Real Take Sports. Hit that like button. So we got that. Oh, well, there we go. That's a thing. Hey, Andrew, want to turn your camera on? There we go. There we go. There he is. And there I am, kind of. There's a little behind-the-scenes look for you guys to see what we're doing here. We're bringing Andrew in. He's joining us as a last-minute addition for the NBA Draft Lottery special. Andrew, they can only hear you right now. They're going to see you in a second. How you doing, man? Oh, you sound a little hoarse. Are you all right, man? You finally hit puberty. Congratulations. Congratulations. You did that to yourself. You can't even blame me. You did that to yourself. Like you really said my voice is getting deeper. Come on now. That's good. Good to see you're doing well. Bada bing, bada boom. There we go. We're set up. We're ready to go here. In the NBA Draft Lottery as I try to boom. There we go. I think we're set up mostly. It's a little rough, but we did it. Andrew, Knicks, a year after having a playoff record, being in the playoffs, they're fallen. How the mighty have fallen. What do you make of the Knicks here? Do they got a chance at the #1 overall pick, Andrew? Let me know.
Bullock and now retaining Theo Pinson. All three right now are playing in the Western Conference Finals. 2 of them are actually physically playing, and the other one is the game's greatest hype man ever. Look at what happened to the Nets after they lost Reggie Bullock. Downhill spiral. The Knicks, it was the same deal. Not Reggie Bullock, Theo Pinson. I'm telling you, man. There are some dudes that are just bench dudes that you got to have on your team. Theo's one of them. Frank, did you not see the statistics? And people are trying to say, oh, it's not like that. Dude, Devin Booker and Chris Paul were combined like 3 for a very large number against Frank when he was guarding the one-on-one. The kid he's a defensive stud. Can't score for shit, but we didn't need him to do that. We needed him to be an all-world defender, which he is. And he's going to clip Steph in the Western Conference Finals while Luka goes off and just completely destroys them.
Oh, I know. I mean, Luka. No. Come on. Look, I love Luka more than the next guy, but the Warriors should be the favorites in that.
They are the favorite. I think this is going to be the series. You're going to see that odometer on Steph's. You're going to see Steph's odometer and Clay's odometer and Draymond's odometer. It's going to become a factor in this series against the younger, very physical. Dude, this team is a better defensive team than Memphis, by the way. Like, this is a better defensive team than Memphis, and they're kind of just as physical, but they're more, like, they have more veterans. Like, Memphis was, like, a young, like, up-and-coming jumpstart team and everything that's, like, very good and is going to have a good future. But, dude, this whole roster they got in Dallas, dude, every single one of them has playoff experience, dude. And, like, legit, like, when you came from the Knicks, when their dudes from the Knicks even had playoff experience, like Reggie Bullock and Frank, dude, the Warriors are not ready for playoff Frank. I'm telling you.
Andrew singing the tales of playoff Frank Ntilikina. Of course, the biggest departure that the Knicks had in, what was it, last offseason, or was it 2 off seasons ago?
No, it was last year. We were very upset. We were very upset because Tibbs had Elfrid Payton playing over Frank. Notice, one of them was on the court in the Western Conference Finals. One of them wasn't. And the one that was the one that won. I'm just saying.
0.5% chance. The Cleveland Cavaliers have a 0.5% chance of getting the #1 overall pick tonight. Look, I believe in miracles, Cavs fans. I believe in miracles. We can make this happen. We can manifest this. If the damn Orlando Magic, who had like the worst odds in the lottery, can get the #1 overall pick and bank on Shaquille O'Neal, we can do it too. If any franchise is set up for mediocrity in all facets of their franchise other than the draft, it is the Cleveland Cavaliers. I'm telling you, we win the draft every year. We will win this year's draft. I have faith. Sorry, the lottery. We don't win the draft. We win the lottery because we drafted Isaac Okaro. That was not a win. That being said, Andrew, which team do you think needs this number 1 overall pick the most? And who should that number 1 overall pick be?
Number 1 overall pick is Paolo Banchero. Most NBA ready. Highest upside. Highest upside is Chet. Second most NBA ready player is Jaden Ivey. Kind of reminds me a lot of Ja, but a little bit bigger. But yeah, the number one pick is Paolo Banchero. That's pretty. Highest upside. I give highest upside. A lot of people are going to disagree with me, but I give it to Chet, big white boy from Gonzaga. The second highest upside I'm giving is the kid from Auburn. Forgot his name. Because college basketball has been over for so long. I give it, but that's more or less what it is. The team that needs it the most, I mean, dude, all these teams need it the most. Like there's a reason.
The Magic, man. The Magic. I'm sorry. Dude, the Magic need it the most. Look at this
lottery.
team.
The lottery is just this is the party of losers, basically. Like that's all this compilation is, dude.
And the Cavs are the leaders of that party. We're throwing the party every single year as Mike Schmitz is getting ready.
Jabari Smith. That's the guy. Him and Chet are like highest upside. Paolo's most NBA ready. Here's the thing about Holmgren that people I think kind of either overlook or underlook. I think he's the biggest hit or miss in this entire draft. Like he has the biggest swing as far as what he can be, because we have seen centers come in like him that have come in and really dominated. We've also seen centers come in and not been able to translate to the NBA level. He needs to bulk up. Definitely needs to bulk up. Otherwise, his career is not going to be as good. Like, look at him in this skinny suit, Andrew. He can be special. He's got all the talent in the world, but look at that's a skinny man. He's a twig.
He's
a kid's got to eat. The kid's got to eat.
And he doesn't even rely too much on the perimeter game as a center, so it's gonna he's gonna have to bulk up. Like they gotta have him eating like steak. Feed that man
some bread. You gotta eat some bread. Get that man some carbs.
Yeah, there we see Jabari Smith, 2021 SEC Player of the Year at the lottery. I love how why the hell are the draft picks at the lottery?
Oh, because these guys got to know where they're going. Like it was the same. Like when Zion was at the lottery.
I mean, but here's the thing: there's no consensus.
He needed to know where he was going.
But there's no consensus. Like
there's
that's
no
the thing.
Consensus. Yeah, there's no consensus. I'd say for this draft, but I mean, we pretty much can assume like if we watch the tape, like if you put on the tape, it's safe to assume Paolo had just the most all around as right now, most NBA ready. But like you said, dude, biggest boom or bust. Teams don't go boom or bust at number one. Teams go for the surefire. Usually, teams go for the surefire thing at number one. And then you're going to see Chet go at like 3 or 4. That's where teams like to go for the boom or bust. So that's where I'm seeing I'm seeing Jabari Smith and Paolo probably go 1 and 2.
Watch that. Chet Holmgren would be like the Magic would make that pick. They just draft another center.
I mean, they have how many guards have they drafted the last couple of years? And then they traded for Markelle Fultz. I mean, they need a big.
Yeah.
Every good big they've ever had is gone.
Mm-hmm. We are just moments away from the order being revealed for the NBA draft lottery. They're in commercial break. We're gonna stick with it though. Andrew, we talked a little bit about the draft. We talked a little bit about the lottery. What do you make of the lottery process? Remember, they redid it a few years ago, right? To make it a little more, I guess, a little more dramatic is really why they did this. But what do you make about the way they restructured the lottery? Is it better than it was in years before, or is it pretty much the same?
I mean, as a New York Knicks fan, I'm just going to tell you, it's
tell me.
I've experienced, it hasn't really made much of an impact on my team since, I don't think we've moved up like ever. So literally, since we drafted Patrick Ewing, we haven't moved up. We've just stayed put.
And they had a rig like the draft of the lottery for that. They had to rig that lottery for you guys to get.
They did. Yeah, no, they did. They rigged it for us to get Ewing. I'll tell you what. I can't even say it paid dividends. We went to the finals twice and lost. I can't even say it paid dividends, but
Yeah. Well,
I mean, the new way to do it, it is kind of cool because there are teams like like the Lakers last year. I don't think the Lakers last year would have been in the top 3 had they, or whichever year it was, the year they traded for Anthony Davis. I don't think the Lakers would have even been in the top 3 if not for like the new way they were redoing the lottery. Like if not for the new way they were doing the lottery, right?
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
So-
like you had very rare instances of teams moving up far. Like I think, I think the Cavs actually, like I think we talked about this like before we got on air, like in the group chat. The Cavs you look like a ghost right now. But the Cavs when they drafted Kyrie Irving, it was when the Cavs drafted Kyrie Irving. We had the Clippers pick, which had like the 7th best odds of getting the number 1 overall pick, and we wound up getting like the number 1 overall pick with like some of the worst odds, like I think in lottery history. So I mean, like, look, it would happen, but like this is like a monkey wrench because of the way, like it's sort of entire monkey wrench in the process because it's like you don't know what's gonna happen. You actually don't know. Like I think last year we saw like a team move up like 4 places. Move up into the top 4, I should say, from number 9. So I mean, like I think it goes farther now. Like the odds go farther, but we'll see what happens. We got some people in the chat. Cincy Edits is in the chat saying, "Wait, the lottery's tonight?" Yeah, it is. I know. They don't do a good job of advertising the lottery, by the way. Liam says, at this point, I need to win the actual lottery to make Toon Talk a thing. Shut up, Liam. Love you. Here we go. Liam says, Cincy, look, it's the new guy. That means you. They're talking about you. He's not new.
I'm an OG. What are you talking about?
He is an OG. He's been here. Sorry.
I'm like one of the founders. What are you talking about? I just took an extended absence.
Andrew, you took a few extended absences, to be fair.
I'm like one of the founders. What are you talking about?
They're just gonna call you the new guy in the chat.
Okay.
Actually, yeah. So it's me, the OG, with the new guy right there. you gotta earn your name back, Andrew.
Okay.
He goes, oh my gosh. Liam says, oh, different guy. I like this dude anyways. Well, at least see the fans love you, Andrew. Don't you love that? The fans love you. Almost as much as I love you all for hitting that like button, subscribing, hitting that notification bell so you get notified whenever a new video is released. NBA Draft Lottery is upon us. ESPN, of course, streaming their thing. We're streaming our thing, which is way better because you get the entire lottery live as it happens, all the updates right there. And on top of that, you get to hear the wonderful commentary from Andrew, myself. Real take commentary, people. Where else can you get such greatness? Is this the entire Duke Blue Devils team? I'm about to say.
Pretty much, yeah. There's like 2 dudes that chose. There's like 2 dudes that chose to go back to school. The rest of them are declared.
That's crazy. Since he says founders vibes. Liam, you guys are the co-founders of Real Take Wrestling Federation. That's a whole different thing. Here we go again. ESPN getting all they can out of us, being like we're just moments away. I should start stealing that gimmick. Where it's just like, guys, we are just moments away from maybe talking about something. In the meantime, Andrew, before they get started here. Oh, never mind. They're getting started. Here we go. Oh, God, they're doing the damn interview thing. They make this such a weird thing. At least it's Dame. Good to see Dame healthy, happy. He's gone. He's gone. He's gone.
Oh, yeah, he's out, dude.
Gone. You can tell he's already checked out. Like, you look at him, he's just like, oh, yeah, the team that I used to play for, basically. Oh.
I think a change of scenery would be nice for him, though.
I love how they like got the opportunity to just talk to Damian Lillard, and they have chosen to do like a whole interview, like they've hijacked the lottery just to do a whole interview with Dame.
Mm-hmm. I mean, do you remember who was it? Somebody asked Shams. It was one of the Pat McAfee dudes.
Yeah.
They were like, yeah, Shams. Basically, when is Zion getting traded to the Knicks? Just.
I love that.
As if like they know it's inevitable at this point, you know?
Is it though? We'll find out, I'm sure.
Dude, what the fuck is wrong with my?
I don't know.
Annoying.
I don't know what's going on. I mean,
'Cause I had to blur my background. I don't. You know what? I don't care. Y'all can see how dirty my room is. I don't.
Oh man, maybe you should clean your room, or at least hide
Yeah,
the.
no.
That's what you gotta do. You gotta find a brick wall, Andrew. You just gotta find a background and like a little crevice in there. But interesting. Either way, the OKC Thunder are going to have 2 picks in the lottery, which is really gonna help them out, I think.
Good for them, man. Good for them. They need it. William Wesley. Shout out William Wesley.
Varejao in the house. We can't not get the #1 overall pick with the man Anderson, and he did a lot of fouling back in the day. Big ups to Anderson Varejao. Oh, William Wesley.
Worldwide West.
David Robinson representing the Spurs. That's interesting to see. Swin Cash Canal. Oh, she's already smiling. She's like, yeah, them Lakers are trash.
They're fucked, dude.
Sabonis. Big ups to Kelly. People sleeping on the Pacers. People sleeping on the Pacers, man. If they get a #1 overall pick here, could change some things. I'm just kidding. No,
I swear to God, when if they open that fucking envelope and it's the Knicks at 14, I'm
Oh, that dude, that would mean that the Cavs automatically jump to the top 4. You are going to, if that happens, guys, you are going to see 2 very opposite reactions. Like, all right, are we ready to see this? Here we go. All right, baby. Pre-lottery is out. Let's go, baby. NBA draft lottery results are ready to be read out. Big shout out to Ernst & Young. Come on, baby. Bring out the deputy commissioner to do his one job. What else does the deputy commissioner do?
Announces the second round picks.
There you go. Good luck, everyone. Here we go. As expected, as is tradition.
The 13th pick belongs to the Charlotte Hornets.
The Charlotte Hornets getting the 13th pick. We're still sticking to form here.
Will be the Oklahoma City Thunder.
Oklahoma City receives this pick from the
Yep,
LA Clippers.
Thunder getting the Clippers pick. No changes yet, Andrew. Here we go. Moment of truth.
The 11th pick goes to the New York Knicks.
New York Knicks. God still hates the Knicks. They are picking at 11.
Pick number 10 will be made by
Pick number 10.
the Washington Wizards.
Washington Wizards.
Still going according to form.
I love it. I love it. They're just going with the according to form.
Goes to
Number 9.
the San Antonio Spurs.
The San Antonio Spurs. No changes here as we enter the top 10.
8th pick will be made by the New Orleans Pelicans.
New Orleans Pelicans getting the Lakers pick.
Lakers because of the Anthony Davis trade.
The 7th pick in the NBA draft belongs to
7th overall pick. Any changes?
Portland Trailblazers.
None.
Oh, that means Sacramento
Whoa.
to the top 4.
Sacramento Kings, it is your time to shine. Yo, Dame's out. He said, I'm not even getting a top player.
Indiana Pacers.
I'm done. Oh, number 6, the Indiana Pacers getting in.
Envelope remaining before we know
That is very interesting. So here we go.
Pick will be made by
5th overall pick.
the Detroit Pistons.
Oh, the Pistons. The poor boy Pistons.
that means that we have our 4.
The top 4.
Oklahoma
Sacramento, Oklahoma City, the Magic, and the Houston Rockets. One of those teams, Andrew, is going to be picking number 1 overall. My God, man. I think the biggest surprise was the Kings right there. Blazers fans got to be just upset about this. Any reaction? How do you feel as a Knicks fan? Not any different than you did 5 minutes ago? No?
Different year, same shit, you know.
Yep.
It is what it is, you know. I've accepted it. Listen, you know what? The savior is already there, but the clincher, dude, he's coming in 2024. We got the savior coming. DeJuan Wagner Jr. DeJuan Wagner Jr.
You think DeJuan Wagner is going to go there?
DeJuan Wagner Jr. is going. Dude, he's been number one his entire high school career. He has not moved since then. Literally, he's going to be the number one. He's going to go to Kentucky. He's going to get drafted number one overall. His game is. I'll be pissed if Golden State decides to be little bitches and Golden State does everything in their power to try to move up to get him to replace Steph, because that tells me that A, they don't believe in Jordan Poole to take the reins from Steph, and B, that they don't believe in their player development staff to develop the other guys all around them, that they're going to have to develop a generation, that they're going to have to go out and draft a generational talent that is DeJuan Wagner Jr.
Do you only like DeJuan Wagner Jr. because he's from Jersey?
Hell yeah.
Is that it?
Pretty much.
Did he go to CBA?
He did not.
Where does he go?
He goes to Camden High School, where his dad went.
Oh, in Camden, New Jersey? That's not New Jersey.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not. Camden's Philadelphia.
Yes, it is. No, it's not.
Camden is Philadelphia.
They pay New Jersey taxes.
They
pay New Jersey taxes, dude.
Ask people from Camden where they're from. They will tell you right outside of Philadelphia.
No. They pay New Jersey taxes, dude. They pay New Jersey taxes. They have New Jersey license plates on their cars. All right. They register to vote in New Jersey. It's New Jersey.
DeJuan Wagner Jr. Right outside of Philly.
High School. They won a New Jersey high school basketball state championship this past year, and they played in the Tournament of Champions championship game, the New Jersey Tournament of Champions championship game at Rutgers University. I was there. They lost to Roselle Catholic. Okay. They are from New Jersey.
Liam, who is from Scotland, says, "Yo, Camden is in London, lads." So he's one up in all of us right now. Real quick before they go back to the draft lottery. So we got the Rockets, Kings, the Thunder, and what was the other team?
Rockets, Kings, Thunder, and hold on. Rockets, Kings, Thunder. What's the other poverty team?
Very forgetful franchise it must have to be.
It's not Portland.
No, it's not Portland. Rockets, Kings, Thunder, and the the Magic. Oh yeah, you want to talk about poverty franchises? That's like the epitome of poverty franchises right there.
Yeah,
the Magic.
The
so Rockets, Kings, Thunder, Magic. One of those teams is going to be picking top four. Which team needs it the most? Which team needs just getting a number one overall pick the most?
You know what? Sacramento. I think Sacramento's getting the fourth pick because that's just their luck. That's just their luck would be to get the fourth pick. Jabari Smith, because I could see him in a Magic uniform. I think Houston's getting that number one pick.
Well, we're about to find out as the NBA draft lottery is back, as they are really plugging tonight's game between the Boston Celtics and Miami. Who do you got in the series? Boston, Miami, real quick.
I got Miami. I actually have finals. I have a rematch of the 2011 finals. We're getting Miami-Dallas part 3 because every time Dallas makes the finals, who do they play? Miami.
Yeah.
Yep, I called it.
Hey, I'm behind you. Chill out. There we go. Mark Tatum reading out the picks. Andrew already knows them. Fourth pick is going to go. I already know
about the fourth pick. I already know about the fourth pick.
Andrew, all right. The Sacramento Kings are going to get the fourth pick, so moving up into the top 4. Sabonis does not look happy. Third overall pick is now going to be going to the Houston Rockets. Oh, they can't win. The Houston Rockets can't win. Number 2 overall going to the Oklahoma City Thunder, and they did it. They did it. They did
is going to Orlando.
The Orlando Magic for the first time since they picked Dwight Howard in, what, was 2006? I think
02, dude. That was like 2002.
Oh, 04. It was 04.
It was one of them.
Well,
It was either before or after LeBron. I think it was after, so it was 04. Yeah,
It was
either
right
before
after
or
LeBron James, a young Dwight Howard went to the Magic. Whose
Yeah.
career are they going to ruin, Andrew, in this upcoming
Paolo.
draft?
Paolo.
And here comes Mike Schmidt.
Paolo, dude.
Mike standing by.
He's
Oh
been
my
cast.
God.
Paolo has been cast to Orlando. They
Yeah,
need a big. You know what? They need a big. They already have guards. They need a big.
So Chet?
No. Paolo. Dude, Paolo's like 6'10", dude. He's a
Dude,
big.
yo, Chet going to the Thunder, though. That could be. The Thunder are going to be loaded. The Thunder
Chet's
are
not
going
going
to
to
be
the Thunder. Actually, you know what? I could see Chet going to the Thunder because the Thunder are that team that takes chances on dudes like that, and he ends
Josh
up
Giddey.
materializing.
Josh Giddey last year.
They're literally that team, dude. They took a chance on KD. They took a chance on Russ. They took a chance on James Harden. Every dude that gets drafted to Oklahoma City becomes a stud. It doesn't make sense. And then they leave.
Yeah, and then they leave. That's the biggest thing. And then they leave. But oh my God, as Woj, I love how like they have Perk on the. Yeah, I gotta ask you. Okay, the draft lottery is done and over with. Mazel tov to the Orlando Magic. Can't wait to see you guys being at the bottom of the basement of the playoffs every year. But I gotta ask you about Pat Bev real quick. Pat Beverly went on ESPN. He went on a tour on ESPN yesterday, and he absolutely just besmirched, belittled, and disrespected anything that had to do with Chris Paul. Look, he said a lot. What do you make of Pat Beverly and his beef with Chris Paul? Is he going too far? Is it a little salty? Like, is he too salty?
So he and Chris Paul have a lot of beef, and you have to listen to everything that Pat Bev says, because yes, obviously his personal beef with Chris Paul contributes into the words that he said. It contributed to a lot of the comments that he made. There were a lot of things though that you do have to like take into consideration. Like, for example, when he described, Chris Paul and how people feel about Chris Paul, they called him, I think they called him cone or something like that, because they said he doesn't move. Like, he's almost out there. Like, he's immobile basically. And when you think about it, he's not wrong. Like, when I mean he's not wrong is Chris Paul he's already undersized to begin with. He's hindered by the fact that he's 37 years old. He obviously doesn't move like a 25-year-old, like a lot of these younger guys in the league, and he's undersized. So, when you put that into perspective, an undersized 37-year-old, that would be a little bit of a defensive liability. I understand what he said about that. Now, coming from Chris Paul's legacy, I completely disagree with that, because I'm telling you right now, there are dudes in today's game that we're propping up that if you swapped, 25 or 24-year-old Chris Paul in 2007, 2008, if you swapped, put Jordan Poole, take current Jordan Poole, put him on the 2008, tell him, go carry the 2008 Hornets back when they were the New Orleans Hornets. They're getting the number 1 overall pick years before. Like, so there are guys that he praises on today that we forget, like, the reason why Chris Paul was because at 6 feet, he could take that roster and will them to damn near the Western Conference Finals in 2008.
He would get
guys
you as far as the Western Conference Finals, but not any farther.
Yeah, guys like LeBron, they could take the 07 Cavs team and will that team. Allen Iverson could take the 2001 Sixers and go to the finals with that team. We don't have guys like that today. As not to knock Steph
Luka.
Curry.
Steph
Curry. Well, I think Luka might be one of the only ones. Steph Curry. I love Steph Curry, everything he's done. But let's be honest. Steph Curry had his chance to prove he could beat 2001 Allen Iverson last season when Klay was down and it was just him and Draymond and Andrew Wiggins out there, and he got injured. Yeah, he got injured. You know what I'm saying? Like,
kind of like James Harden got injured.
Yeah,
before he
it's
got
like
traded,
he gave up on the team because he was like, I can't do this. We need more talent around, which Steph is a very talented dude. Don't get me wrong. But, there's a reason why these all-time greats, like there's a reason why we put guys like Allen Iverson, young Chris Paul. Dude, Chris Paul had DeAndre Jordan was an all-star because of Chris Paul. Like Think about that. He has never been the same player since he left Chris Paul.
Yeah, I mean, it's gonna be interesting because Chris Paul, CP3. I love how he was composed. There's gonna be people who are gonna come out and defending him over the next few days over these comments. It's gonna be interesting. Last thing before we head on out.
Oh, can we just really quickly, because I didn't get a chance. Can we get into that just utter disappointment of because everyone's bashing Phoenix. Everyone's bashing Phoenix, and I know like Patrick Beverly is talking about Chris Paul, but can we not talk about how the 25-year-old Devin Booker, who a lot of people have said might be the next Kobe, is very, 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 very far from that? Can we not talk about how DeAndre Ayton, who was a number 1 overall pick big man, was a no-show in that Game 7? And it's not like, he doesn't have Mutombo guarding him. He doesn't have Ewing guarding him. He doesn't have an all-time great big guarding him.
It's like Cleveland and Boban.
Yeah. And then can we also talk about, the Mikal Bridges of the world? These guys there are people arguing Mikal Bridges should have won Defensive Player of the Year. Luka abused him. Like, obviously, Luka's a killer, but come on. You got to. So, as much as people want to come for Chris Paul and Patrick Beverly's coming for Chris Paul because he has his own personal agenda, let's not take away from the fact that, the core group of guys, the lottery picks, the Devin Bookers, the DeAndre Ayton, I'm going to refer to him as number 25 because I don't respect him enough to refer to him by his name. Number 25, supposed to be the Kawhi clone, how they didn't show up either. So it's not all on Chris Paul.
You're not at all salty.
You gotta understand. My vendetta with number 25 it goes far beyond. It's my vendetta. It has to do with college because I went to Seton Hall and number 25 went to our rival. So of course. And you saw that Bleacher Report article I sent you. You saw that Bleacher Report article I did send you.
Look,
I'm not the one putting the expectations on him, dude. When Bleacher Report puts out an article like that, I'm just saying.
Look, I mean, you got a point there. One thing I will say about the Suns is that they deserve every ounce of legitimate criticism levied their way about the way they played in that Game 7. People want to say that, don't like you and I both know people who are like, don't criticize X person. They've done so much for the game, or don't do. Dog, they're playing basketball and they didn't show up. If there was any time that was appropriate to say that these guys didn't show up, these guys didn't play well, even they said it. Devin Booker in the post-game press conference literally said, yeah, it was an ass whooping. He admitted, like he said it. I mean, I don't know, I don't know how else to explain it. I mean, they deserve every ounce of criticism levied their way, and you're not going to get better unless you learn from your mistakes. Here's what I'll say about Devin Booker. I do think that Devin Booker still could get better. I think he can get a lot better than where he is now. Does that mean he's necessarily going to be Kobe Bryant? No, I don't think he's going to be Kobe Bryant. It's not a lot of people in the NBA are ever going to be Kobe Bryant or even come close to that, but that doesn't mean he can't be a great player. The one thing, the last thing I want to bring up is it's almost like I don't want to say censorship, but it's just like the blackout of discussions over Jimmy Butler. You never hear anyone talk about Jimmy Butler, and he is a bona fide star. He should be talked about as far as one of the top players in this league, one of the top leaders in this league, because he consistently leads the Miami Heat to great records. He led them to the NBA Finals. He led them to the best record in the East this year. He's led them to another Eastern Conference Final. What more does he have to do to prove to people, outside of winning a championship, honestly, what more does he have to do to be a part of that discourse? Or will he just never be a part of, the daily discourse of just what's going on in the NBA? I do feel like he's kind of never going to be that type of player.
Yeah, I don't think he will be, given how the style of play that he plays, and I think age is going to factor into it. Jimmy Butler is not exactly, Jason Tatum's 24, 25. Luka's 22. You got these younger guys coming up and everything who we're worried about who's going to be the next face of the league in terms of young guys, that we completely disregard the fact that Jimmy Butler has been one of the best two-way players in the last decade. Like in the last decade, one of the best two-way players all around, in the entire league. And I do agree that there's the complete discourse and the disregard for what he's doing in Miami. Mind you, dude, Kyle Lowry was out he went down in the first series and everything. And Jimmy Butler was the only one. Yes, they did get contributions from Oladipo, who was still trying to get his feet under him. Jimmy Butler has been the only consistent one, there. You just look at all the teams that give you Philly, for example, right? 2019, that team with Kawhi Leonard, not Kawhi. The Raptors had Kawhi Leonard. They had that team that won the finals. That Philadelphia team with Tobias Harris, Embiid, Ben Simmons, Jimmy Butler, and everything. That team was built to win. Like if Kawhi doesn't get that shot to fall, Philly wins in overtime. Philly probably goes on to beat Milwaukee because they just all around had the better matchup. And then Golden State fans use the excuse of injuries. I think even if Golden State was healthy that year, Philly had the personnel to go toe to toe with them, injured or not. Like Embiid would have been a matchup nightmare for them. You got Jimmy Butler. You had Jimmy Butler, you had Tobias Harris, guys like that can create for themselves, create for each other and everything. Philly hasn't been the same since Jimmy Butler left. And actually, you look at a team like Miami, they've been the exact opposite. Since the addition of Jimmy Butler, they've gotten better. They went to the finals the first year, albeit it was the bubble year. Last year, they did get eliminated in the first round. They had issues. This year, dude, they're back in the Eastern Conference Finals. And I think a lot of it just it's a tribute to just how much of an impact Jimmy Butler can have on a team. Like he's a culture guy. Like Jimmy Butler is one of those, he's a culture guy. Like I would love to have Jimmy Butler in New York. We're not going to get him obviously because our organization is still trying to figure out how to become. I'm seeing motherfuckers talk about trading RJ now. It's like literally the best player we've drafted in the last 30 years. And you want to put him in a trade for I don't get it. So that's my rant on Jimmy Butler is I completely disagree with the discourse or the complete disregard of what Jimmy Butler has done. Like it's flying under the radar. Like, dude, they had the 1 seed. They're in the Eastern Conference Finals. And, Boston, this is going to be a good series, dude. This is going to be a really good series. Jimmy Butler versus Jason Tatum.
Oh my God.
Hell of a series.
And like these are two guys who are like relentless in their pursuit of being great. Like I love that. And honestly, I'm rooting for Jimmy Butler. Like I mean, I'm rooting obviously for both players. I like both players, but like I'm really rooting for Jimmy Butler. If Luka doesn't win this year, I want Jimmy Butler to win a ring. Like legitimately. Because that's going to prove every single one of his doubters his entire career wrong. And he's going to go he's honestly has one of the best stories in NBA history. Like as a story. Of how far he's come from when he came into the league to now. It is just such an interesting, fascinating story with so many dramatic twists and turns. Like your boy Thibodeau, bro, man, he showed up Mike Thibodeau or Tom Thibodeau in practice, like by just saying, "Put all of your starters against me, and I will wipe the floor with them," and he did that.
But that wasn't as much of a Tibbs. Now I do have my own gripe with Tibbs. Don't get me wrong.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that was just Thibodeau. But I'm talking
that
about
was more
just
an
like
organization because the organization had literally he made the organization choose between him and Karl Anthony Towns, and they chose Cat, younger. He's a big. He's a do it all big and everything like that. But in terms of just the culture, you look at Miami, right? You look at Miami and what they've become and how Jimmy Butler fits that culture so well in like the grit and grind, the hard-nosed culture. Like there are certain organizations that kind of play like that, they almost have that underdog mentality, even though they are like a high seed and everything. Memphis is one of them, the grit and grind and everything. Miami's another one and everything. How many of these guys on Miami? Like think about, they were all no names, the Max Struesses of the world, the Duncan Robinsons of the world. Even Jimmy Butler had to work to where he's at. The dude Vincent, the guard and everything. So, Oladipo, dude. Oladipo is a guy who the NBA pretty much, after his second or third injury, they were like, what are we going to do with this guy? Like he was almost out of the league because of his injury history. And Miami was like, no, like, we honestly, he fits our culture. We honestly feel like, he is the exact kind of player we want in this culture. And he has been. They went out and got a guy like Kyle Lowry, another guy like Kyle Lowry, who he was a late bloomer. he didn't really break out until his like 6th year in the league in Toronto. And even then, Toronto was like back then what Sacramento is now. It's like, oh, like you ain't shit. We're gonna,
You're not doing
you've
anything.
been exiled. You've been exiled to Toronto. You know what I'm saying? Like he was left for dead. So
yeah,
man, this is gonna be a great series. And it's funny too because anybody who sits here and says that super teams are good for the NBA, first off, that's absolute bullshit. Apparently, I was reading something today. These ratings, like the ratings for the last round, that have been the highest ratings for any second round, like cumulative second round series in like the last decade. So anybody, because there's more parity.
I think it depends what we define as a super team, right? I mean, the Warriors, yes, they're a super team, but they did that 100% like naturally, like through that's the thing about the Warriors, man. Like it is insane to think they are definitely like, I don't like maybe the Spurs from like from like the late 90s into the early 2000s, but
they built that. That's another one.
That's what I'm saying.
They built that.
Like,
they drafted David Robinson. They drafted.
That's
Duncan,
what I'm saying though. Like
Ginobili.
those two teams, like those two teams with those two eras, like probably the two of the best, most successful teams of like their eras or their respective eras, and they were naturally built. Like the Spurs didn't really have to go out and sign the best player in the league. I mean, the Warriors did it anyway. The Warriors were winning titles before that. They just did it anyway. And now they're about to be back, possibly doing the same thing. I mean, it's just going to build, I think, on Steph's legacy. And I know you're not as hot on Steph as a lot of people, other people are. I love Luka. I just do not think that they just don't have it. They just don't have it.
Keep doubting Dallas, dude. They doubted Dallas in 2011 too, and the 2011 Dallas Mavericks shocked the world.
I am not doubting Dallas. Here's the thing. I'm picking Dallas to win. Like the money is on Dallas. My heart is with Dallas.
I already have a FanDuel. I already have the money. I already have.
That means they're not winning. That means they're not winning. See, you messed up. That means they're not winning. That means they're not winning. That means they're not winning.
I can't bet on my teams, but I can bet on other people's teams.
When was the last time you bet on the Titans?
No. I bet that the Titans would win. I bet that the Titans would get the first round in the AFC. They would get the number 1 overall seed. I have evidence that I actually did place a bet on my birthday that the Tennessee Titans would get the number 1 seed in the AFC.
When was the last time you bet on a game?
Oh no, I can't bet on single games. No. I'm not dumb. I'm not dumb. Hell no.
Oh man, I mean,
I bet on every Titans game. We're getting the number 1 pick next year.
All right. Last thing I'll ask you: when's Malik Willis starting? What week?
Starting? I don't know about starting. I think we're gonna get our first glimpse of him in. I'll tell you, week 12. Probably either week 12 or depending on how the season goes. And the only reason why I'm saying is depending is, let's say we win the AFC South or something like that early. Like we do great. Like the first half of the season start out like, 8-2, 9-1, even 7-3 or something like that. We win the AFC South going away and we can't catch any team for like the number 1 seed or something like that. You might see Malik Willis, like, because we'd rest our starters for like, if we're not playing for anything, you could see us resting our starters for like the first round, depending on what we do. So you could end up seeing him start later in the season. Like let's say we do get the number 1 seed or something like that, and we win it by like week 15 or week 16. We'd rest our starters, and because our last game is against Houston, we'll get him some reps against Houston. You could see him start as maybe week 16, 17, depending on how the season goes.
Hey, man, if that start does come against Houston, I got one piece of advice for you, Malik Willis. Do not throw the ball to my boy Derek Stingley Jr. Don't do it. It's not a good idea. But the league will find out on its own. Andrew, thank you so much for joining.
Of course.
All right. Until next time, everyone, this has been the Draft Lottery. Orlando Magic fans, rejoice. Knicks and Cavs fans, it's basically what we expected.
We're trading this pick anyway. This pick's going to fucking Utah. So this pick's going to Utah. So it don't matter.
Love to hear it. All right, guys. Be happy, be healthy, keep it real.